ESL Prime League.
Series for you tonight. And the first player who's going to be playing in it is this Pink Protoss. Talking a little bit of smack inside of the chat beforehand, perhaps, is what we translated it to. He is...
Dead Pixels, Patience.
And on the opposite side of the map, not 8 pooling, surprisingly enough, we do indeed have the red Zerg player, Hell It's a Boot Time champion. This is...
Team Rocket, HyuN.
Now, of course, we have no idea if they were actually talking smack, but you know, hey, I feel like that's exactly what they were doing, so we're gonna roll with it. These two players at each other's throat right now. Only one of them can advance into the semifinals of the ASL Prime League, and I believe they will be actually facing off against our previous winner, who was Hydra. So, whoever wins this one is going to be able to have the pleasure of playing against the WCS Season 2 2015 champion. Imagine that.
I love that heading into this match, HyuN, at least a little bit, is like, this guy could be like totally cannon rushing me. So before he goes for the 3 hatch before pool, HyuN checks around his natural and he's like, are you cannon rushing me? Okay, no, I'm going to go 3 hatch. Against a Nexus first. So I did not at all did I think we were going to see a 3 hatch before pool, least of all from HyuN.
Yeah. Well, Patience isn't going to probably expect it just yet. He will see it with that pool timing, though. But does he have enough time in order to even try to cannon rush? And is it even worth it to do so? Because he opened up with the kind of greedier opener himself. He might just take it and say, I see. As HyuN saw the Nexus first and raised him a hatchery.
2 hatches better than a Nexus. I guess that's kind of the thing that we will find out. Both of these guys, interestingly enough, have, at foreign premier tournaments, not done too poorly. HyuN, we've seen him at a couple of round of 4 dream hacks. Patience is the guy who gets his round of 8, and then he's like, I'm done with this tournament. I'm just going to go home. He gets the round of 8. Which, of course, I probably shouldn't be saying that, because...
I'm so over this.
It's probably a little bit BM, because he's probably so desperate for that win. But he does get a lot of round of 8s. Both of these guys, these are both Code A cast-offs from Season 3. So basically, we're going to see who's the real Code S player between these two.
Well, here in game number 1, I love that they are opening up in a macro sense. I feel like if Patience were to go for that gateway after, we would have seen a bit more confidence in his play. But he did opt to go for the Forge, which will defend him against some kind of earlier pool out of HyuN if he wanted to get aggressive. And it doesn't mean that he's super behind by any means either. There could be a good follow-up that could punish that 3rd hatch out of HyuN. But it's not going to be the cannon rush. That's not what it's going to be. So... But this, see, right here.
That'd be pretty gutsy if he did go Nexus first, and then he's like, I bet this guy's gonna 3 hatch, and just goes for the cannon rush. That first Zealot stepping across the map. He's got the watchtower, and he's safe and secure thus far. He's like, I don't want to go any further. I'm done. I got my watchtower. Oh, if he snipes his Overlord, that's so frustrating.
Wow,
That's
and another Stalker. This is going to be a good pressure build coming out of Patience for now. Not really a crazy one, as I don't even see the Mothership Core leaving just yet, but there it goes. You know, you don't make 2 Stalkers to just defend against, potential Overlords flying into your base.
Does drop a 3rd Nexus as well, so it's not a total committal one way or the other. As this Mothership Core is making its way across the map, the Lings are going to be stepping forward to deal with the Stalkers, and he's like, okay, you got enough Lings, I'll turn around, bye-bye.
Yep. And how important was it to kill that Overlord that was at the 3rd? HyuN is going to be able to go see this, though. Really smart using these 2 Lings. Knows exactly what he's up against, and Patience could be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't defend that 3rd against a big flood of Speedlings, but he's setting up to do so. Doesn't look like HyuN is going to go into that aggressive state just yet.
HyuN being massively annoyed by just the death of his overlords thus far. We do have 15 lings roaming around the map, as you can see, and the majority of them are right there on screen. But Twilight Council now going to be coming down, and 3 additional gateways. Of course, this is, 3 additional gateways basically on 3 base as a Protoss. So it's not like he went, oh, okay, all right. Now we're starting to add on a couple more gateways.
Oh.
Still no Robo, so he is indeed just looking for that Twilight tech, but it's going to be against Hydras.
Yo, this is pretty big. 7 gateways here. The probe production had stopped. He's transferring some probes over, so he is going to have a decent amount of saturation, but the probe production has resumed here, Cybert, so it's not like he's doing the fake 3rd Nexus and then just goes in with a huge 7 or 8 gate all in. He is going to be going for that blink, as you did say, and he might even couple it with that +2 attack, so just a giant blink stalker all in, perhaps, coming out of patience.
Classic 3-base blink stalker all in, but
yeah, this is some old school stuff, right? Not old school.
I mean
that kind of dates us, right? Like, oh, back in my day, like last year, this used to be the thing to do.
I'm assuming he's not gonna all in. I guess he could, but I mean he's got the Robo coming up behind this, and then we'll have to see exactly what he decides to transition to from there. But from HyuN, he's just like, if you're going to give me a little bit of space to breathe, then I'm going to take a 4th base, I'm going to throw down a macro hatch, I'm going to do whatever I want because I'm HyuN. Yeah, sure, maybe ventral sacks? Whatever. I can drop units out of Overlords. That's not just Warp Prisms. I'm HyuN, I'll do whatever I want.
With that?
I have no idea. This guy's crazy.
He done lost his bananas.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have fast Overlords. They're going to be dropping units. I don't even know.
Well, the creep spread is something that is a little bit atrocious out of HyuN so far. That's definitely something he could have worked on here, as he hasn't been under any pressure this game at all. He's been so greedy in a way that Patience has as well. Matching the greed with the greed is what these 2 players have been doing this whole game. Whoa! I don't know here, Cybert, but I saw all those Overlords kind of all together. And is he really going to do this? Who did we see do something crazy like this? It was on Cactus Valley. Can't remember what the tournament was. Actually, it was on the Legacy of the Void, so it was a really weird
I mean, as long as Overlord drop is still hatch tech, you might as well abuse that. Legacy of the Void. You might as well do what you can. +3 attack is going to be starting as more and more roaches are on the way. Is he just going to elevator into the main?
Right into the main? I mean, I think he could do that. Look at the supply. He's going to be maxed out.
Oh, my word.
Patience would never expect this, man.
Ooh.
Especially if he was able to go and force photon overcharges anywhere else. But there's a warping of Zealots in the bottom left base of HyuN. Going to distract him a bit.
He doesn't even care.
Nope.
He's just like, yeah, no, that was... as long as you're not worried about my army... Oh, my word. HyuN is just... He is such a massive player. Into the main base. Go the Overlords. There's so many extra Overlords as well, so it's not even like he could target down very specific few Overlords directly on top of a lot of these sentries, depowering 3 of the gateways as Roaches and Hydras now trapped a little bit behind the maze of force fields. Pretty much every single one of the sentries does end up going down, and these Overlords blocking half of the view of this battlefield is blinking back and away, leaving the Immortals on the front line to deal with the Roaches and the Hydras. The high ground is currently for HyuN, but there's the jump forward. I think he's got the numbers. He should have this.
I think he is, but is he going to be ready for round number 2? Because look at the third base of Patience. So many Roaches are going to be hitting this right now. And HyuN needs to get those Overlords out, because the Remax is what's going to be powerful here. He did lose his 4th base, so it's not like he's doing this and not taking any damage at the same time.
That was a very weird engagement. There's still Roaches over at the 3rd base. They've killed 7, 8 probes thus far. Now going to get targeted down by Immortals, Cannons, Stalkers, and the Mothership for pretty much assaulting them from every single side. HyuN in the middle of the map. A bunch of Hydras do turn around. Stepped back. They're not on the offensive anymore, but he's regrouping. As you mentioned, that Remax is what HyuN was looking for.
And is he going to be able to get it? He lost his 4th base, not as good of an economy as he would like to have. And there was a hero probe and a pylon right at the location where HyuN was going to drop, which allowed Patience to get in that position. If you get caught by surprise as a Protoss player and you cannot get up your ramp in time, it is not going to be a happy time for you at all. But there was a hero pylon and probe. And now we're looking at a game that could have just potentially ended. Gonna go into the late game here with superior upgrades here for Patience.
That +3 attack, +1 armor on the way is looking so good for Patience. HyuN desperately trying to catch up with his Roaches and Hydras with +2 on the way. Breaks down the rocks, is going to be looking over towards the third. Now, one thing that we can kind of call out for Patience is he's only got the one observer, so he doesn't know about a lot of these attacks until they're actually upon his base. As now breaking down pylons, getting in towards those cannons, but more importantly, in towards the probes.
Yep, this Nexus is going down. But is he gonna get away, Cybert? This is a lot of units out of both players. I don't know, it's looking pretty good. Where the force fields, though?
There we go, right on cue as you call for them. Patience answer. He's going to be losing quite a bit here if he's not able to just rally this, and he does step forward with the Immortals, now going to be able to deal with the Roaches quite easily, but the reinforcements slowly sliding over from the left side, able to snipe down a couple more Stalkers. Patience, he's dealing with this, but it's not clean in any way. I mean, it's not like he had a fourth and he lost his fourth or something like that. That was his third base, where his main and his natural are starting to mine out.
Yes, but a really good thing here is that he was able to save a lot of his workers, so even though the economy is not going to be that great, HyuN isn't really mining from a fourth either, so he's going to remax with Roach Hydras that are going to be on +1. There's looking like there's no signs even to go into Hive, so Vipers are not going to be a factor. +2 will finish here, though, for HyuN. And he's just getting every upgrade for every one of his units that he's using. That is the Roach and the Hydra, getting the Burrow, he's getting Tunneling Claws, and even utilizing that drop tech here on the left side of the map. Just look at this, man. I thought this was a ZvP, not a PvT.
One kind of player has to drop in this series, and HyuN says it's going to be me. He's also going to be catching potentially out some Stalkers over by the potential third of Patience. Yeah, down where that almost fourth would have been. Into the Burrow and Tunneling Claws play. 4 more probes getting sniped down, but in the middle of the map, Immortals, Sentries, and Stalkers going to be engaging. Those are some alright force fields, sectioning off a few of the units, but the majority of them are still dealing damage to now the Sentries and Immortals.
Yep, and inside of the natural, a lot of those Roaches are going to get some more damage. Patience is going to possibly win on this front. Oh no, he's going to get pushed back here. There are 2 Immortals here, but they only do really well against the Roaches, but with +3, they still do pretty fine against Hydras. What's cool playstyle coming out of HyuN? But Patience is really defending in an incredible way.
What a weird macro game that we are seeing out of these two players. More Roaches on the way, as you were kind of referencing there. Oh, stepping forward, almost stutter stepping onto these Immortals, sniping one of them down extremely quickly. The other one nearly dead and will get left behind. He can't blink away. His friends leave him for dead.
Uh-oh, and here comes another attack out of HyuN. This is not even all she wrote, because there's a whole flood of red just trickling across the map. This is pretty much Patience's last leg, as he doesn't have a lot of gas income anymore. He's trying to hold on here and get some cost-efficient trades, but I don't know, Cybert, is he going to be able to try to hold on here? It's a lot of Stalkers. He can get a lot of bang for his buck if he utilizes that blink in a great way.
You hit the nail upon the head there with the phrase blink, and of course the micro potential is what we're going to be looking for from Patience, from some incredible Protoss players. We have seen them overcome superior Roach Hydra numbers with just really good blink Stalker micro, but it's one of those things where you have to be incredible, and anything less means you lose.
Exactly, and he lost a lot of the sentries as well. Warping in 2 here, he might be catching. Oh my goodness. Is this a bad situation for Patience, or is this a bad situation for Patience? Not looking too good there.
Out by Speedlings before even really having to engage the brunt and the meat and the strength of HyuN's army. This rocket is not slowing down for the Red Zerg player.
Not at all. I see what you did there. That was nice. As force fields are finally going to be able to section out maybe some of these units, but I think they're just, well, I thought there would be too much, but this is great force fields. But once again,
into the Burrow play. HyuN, he is not stopping with the show-off moves. He's Overlord dropping, and then he goes underground to negate the force fields as he takes game number 1.
Alright everybody, we are here in the middle of absolute nowhere. It is Cactus Valley in game number 2 of the second best of 5 series of the night. This player is down 1, but showing a pretty solid defense, just wasn't able to hold on in the end. He is the pink Protoss player.
Dead Pixels, Patience.
And the Zerg in the bottom right-hand corner who is blasting off. He is red hot. This boy is on fire. This is...
Team Rocket, HyuN.
With amazing game sense here out of HyuN. 4-player map, goes for the pool first. 2-player map, goes for the 3-ass before pool. And look at what Patience is doing here, Cybert. Trying to get that cannon rush, perhaps, but isn't going to get so lucky. Unless he decides to commit to it anyway. Which I wouldn't recommend. At all.
Not at this point.
Nope.
He could maybe do something like weird where it's like, I'm totally cannon rushing you, just kidding, I'm faked, I hope you pulled drones. And it's like, no, why would I pull drones? I have lings.
Exactly.
So, he did pylon scout, and then he was kind of hanging around in the top left-hand corner, and it was like, oh, is he going to proxy, like, you know, Twilight Council or something? And then he didn't, so.
Well, all good, you know, here. Both are not going to commit to anything too crazy in that early game. But looking like HyuN, though, he's going right for that 3rd hatch immediately. So that is very, very bold to do. He's feeling it, though. He does now scout that there is a forge opener, and he's going to be very happy with his actions. Maybe he just realized the timing of the probe. Like, there's no way you're gateway scouting me, unless, I don't know.
Actually, yeah, with the timing of, like, if you gateway scout, but then you go the correct way, is it that much faster than if you pylon scout and go the wrong way?
The incorrect way, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Weird.
Well,
HyuN,
anyway, even if it was a gateway. Expand?
Look at these waypoints from HyuN. He's like, yeah, I've got overlords over your base. I'm still not trusting you. I didn't trust you in game number 1. I'm running lings all over the map. You are not hiding any tech. And then, like in game number 1, where he didn't get cannon rushed, HyuN is like, there's hidden tech somewhere. There's something secret on this map. And Patience is just like playing this straight up. He's like, I'm going to forge fast expand, not cannon rush you.
Yep. He's like so paranoid right now. He thinks like everybody out in public is out to get him, but they're just kind of going about their daily business. But HyuN is just like, oh, that guy, you know, he's reading the newspaper, but I can swear that there's a hole between the O on the print that he's looking at me from. And that eye is his eye, not a picture of like, you know, some eye doctor or something. But yeah, this definitely covering all of his bases, crossing his T's, dotting his I's, making sure that nothing is going to go undetected. That's a sign of a good player. We saw Stefano, very famous for this kind of meticulousness as far as trying to figure out what is on the map. Never trust a Protoss, man. Never trust them.
Especially
even if you're a Protoss, especially if you're a Protoss player.
Yeah, definitely, because it's like, just because there's no Protoss camaraderie that's like, Protoss brethren, we won't all in each other. No, nothing like that. No. Just like it's not for any other races. But contrast to the last game, so if you look at like first 4-ish minutes, minus the 3rd Nexus, things were like extremely similar for Patience, game 1 to game 2. Now we suddenly see like, okay, he was looking at +3, blink, these weird things in game number 1. Game number 2, he's like, Warp Prism, Robo immediately, more gateways. So I'm really hoping we see some cool Warp Prism micro coming out from Patience. He's like, alright, I got kind of pulled apart in the macro game. Let's go crazy, let's go multitasking early, and let's pull HyuN apart.
Exactly, and the fact that he made that Warp Prism first, he's just now getting the gas. I think usually you would see an Immortal come out if you were going to see an Immortal Sentry, but getting that Warp Prism first, he's like, no, it's time. Whoa, did that Overlord? Don't know if it saw it. That would have been a very big mistake from Patience. Well,
hopefully the Lings see it. We got 30 more Lings on the way with a Spore.
Yeah, that's a lot of Lings here, and you know, it's going to be 2 sentries in order to try to maybe warp in on that ramp. I don't think he's going to have much success with that, but the fact that HyuN is going for a much different style right now, he's dropped 2 Evo Chambers in 2 different locations to not make it look too suspect, but here comes the warping already at the 3rd. There's a lot of Lings coming out of here, Cyber. What a beautiful position here.
Those are some really solid force fields when you take into account the position of those particular zealots. Like that was spot on positioning.
Perfect. Yeah,
into the main base go the Lings as Patience loses 5 probes there, and a Stalker gets surrounded as well.
Uh-oh, this is a Photon Overcharge coming out of Patience, but what does he have in the main? 4 Zealots is going to be what he chooses to defend with. But wow, you can't. It's really hard to multitask when you're trying to get force fields and Zealot positioning. If you forget something like that, yeah, HyuN is going to punish you for it. He did.
Even cancels one of the gateways in the main. Those 4 Zealots were not in position to actually defend against that Ling kind of attack that we're moving in there. And Patience, he tried to do something a little bit aggressive. He tried to make some work happen. And oh, now the force field's working against him as what looked like all right force fields suddenly turned into bad force fields as they blocked off his own Zealots. We got a Spire and an Infestation Pit on the way for HyuN.
Both from HyuN at the same time, so I believe, I was going to say really fast. I'm wondering what he's going to do. He's getting melee upgrades, right? You get the Infestation Pit. Are we going to see the resuscitation of the Ling Hydra, or not Ling Hydra, Ling Infestor style? Or are we just going to see some Mutalisks come out and a really early Hive to get that 3-3, and perhaps Ultralisks or Broodlords? I'm wondering why the Spire is so early if he was going to go for Broodlords, you know? So, whoa, yeah, Pathogen Glands coming out.
All right. A little bit more development as we've got 13 Roaches on the way, and quite a bit of Static D as well. One thing that may have been missed is when Patience went for that last move, but never mind, there's a huge surround of these Lings. Force Field's going to be coming down. Patience is nearly spot on with those Force Fields a little bit late, which is going to cost him a couple of sentries or a couple of Zealots. Good Warp Prism control, though, and Patience, he's not stopping. This Static D isn't quite ready just yet.
No, it's not, but it will be very soon. These queens don't have enough to transfuse. One does, so he can get one of those Spine Crawlers transfuses. Not going to be able to get the one that just went down. And with the Roaches coming out, they don't have any upgrades, I don't think. Only the Carapace. Is Patience hitting a really perfect timing, or is HyuN going to just be able to overwhelm it?
20 more Lings on the way, +2/+2 on the way for HyuN. He doesn't quite need it just yet. Patience is desperately looking for a better spot to engage. He's got a pylon to fall back to, but these are kind of measly warpins. 3 Stalkers, now a couple more going to be coming in. He's starting to push HyuN back, but I'm not sure that he'll actually be able to do damage.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go off that creep just yet. I believe there was a cancel of that the 4th base here from HyuN out of Patience. Keep in mind, Patience has only been on 2 bases this whole time. The only reason why HyuN would want to go on that 4th base is to get the gas for potentially a Muta switch. But I mean, with a bunch of Blink Stalkers that are going to be upgraded, I don't know. Do you think it's a good idea to go for a Muta switch against a 2-base Protoss that's just trying to kill you right now?
The upgrades certainly have stopped. I'm kind of missing that +2 attack. Now, earlier on in the game, Patience tried to take a 3rd just when he moved out with the Warp Prism for that first attack that got shut down pretty hard by HyuN. And while Patience did take huge damage there, he also didn't get his 3rd, and then those Lings made it into the main base. So Patience was looking to go in towards that macro game, or in towards, you know, at least a 3rd base, and continue that macro game. But now, he had blocked off his natural expansion with a pylon, that he recently killed, and now he's getting in the Dark Shrine. His game changes. His game plan has changed completely.
Yes, and he's going for that 3rd once again. Oh, the Mutas are out here, Cybert, and now Patience knows about it. This could be pretty crucial here, a crucial stage in the game, as it could force Patience to try to attack. Yes, and then all of a sudden, HyuN would jump on the army with some Lings and Infestors if he forces Patience to attack. But, you know, showing them off right now means that Patience says, okay, I'm not going to play into your little trap right now. It's only 3 Mutas at the moment. He just goes and sits on this 3rd base, is able to take it, force HyuN to attack into him. Especially with Cactus Valley being a very hard map to attack Protoss onto. Or Protoss in.
What? That whole position. Yeah, the DTs were almost trapped, and now they're almost not trapped. I thought for sure HyuN had eyes. Okay, there we go. He finally gets one DT. The other one is in the middle of the map. He actually hold positioned his Lings all the way around that DT, blocking it off, and then his Overseer didn't catch up in time, and so the DT just walked off.
Well, this DT is going to end up walking off, but there is Overseer and a Spine Crawler at the 3rd base. And it's going to get taken out. Patience not really catching a break here. This is the attack that he's been waiting for. If he defends this attack, he's able to stabilize and go into the mid game, or at least the late game, rather. Oh, but he misses. Okay, there he goes. That's a lot of force fields to use for a few lings.
He's warping in a couple more sentries. He's got 9. Well, yeah, he's got 9 out on the map right now. A number of them do have low energy. So, as you kind of mentioned there, those 4 force fields that got expended, in a different circumstance, would have been all right. But considering that most of his sentries are low on energy, it's rough. Greater Spire now going to be coming in.
Yes,
he needs to actually make use of it.
This is such a big moment here for HyuN. The Corruptors are out. He's comfortably transitioning into Broodlords while Patience is saying, okay, if I can deal with an attack with some Lings and Infestors, I'll be alright. But does he have the answers to Broodlords? I don't think he does right now.
He hasn't started any Stargates. He's probably not even aware of this. And as we kind of hinted at before, he stopped upgrades a long time ago, only recently started rebuilding them. He doesn't have that many Stalkers either, only 11. And, I mean, he even lost 3 probes to that Smalling run by.
Yep. And HyuN was able to kind of see it as well. This is such a crazy situation. Like, how often would you be expecting this? The Broodlords are just going to be unanswered, and now the map is going to work against Patience because what are you going to do, blink down to get under them? This Crossroads is usually the safest position against Ling Hydra, but not when you throw Broodlords into the equation. Oh, the Infestors are going to get a fungal growth, and now they're stuck. Broodlords are going to be able to rain down the Broodlings on all of this Protoss army, and GG is going to be called. That's all she wrote. HyuN taking game number 2.
They have gotten here for ASL Season 5, and one of these players is responding to the pressure with potentially some pressure of his own. This pink Protoss player in the top left-hand corner. He's got some balls
Dead
on him.
pixels,
Can he take
patience.
it? This is...
Oh, and on the other side, going to be spawning on the bottom right. Drone scouting, looking a little bit skeptical at the moment. He's up 2-0. Can he do the 3-0 shutout? He goes by the name of...
Team Rocket, HyuN.
He goes by the name of 13 Pool. I scouted your pylon in my main base with my Overlord. Get out of my game, scrub. I think is his formal name.
Oh, he saw it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
he saw it. He checked with his Overlord. Freaking HyuN. So much respect for Patience being a cheesy Protoss. Patience cheesed his way, certainly, through the round of 32. He was extremely tired those games. Non-stop aggression. And then now in the round of 8, where it matters most, 2 gate.
Wow. And the fact that he didn't show that he knows, you know, he could have pulled drones if he really wanted to, but he's just going to let Patience continue to think that he has this in the bag. And to Patience's surprise, he's going to see that. ... Oh, no!
Oh, yes!
When you think of that, that means very much F HyuN. I don't know what the Q stands for, but I don't know what any of this is just.
Oh, GG. Buddy. HyuN played that out immaculately. What a response by HyuN. And then Patience. He walked around with his probe, and then he heads over, and I wish we had player cams for that one moment where he's just like,
actual,
you know...
like Skype cams or something.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.